welcome back to the channel of nonsense, where today we're discussing the topic of cynicism. Cynicism is a very useful tool when you're reviewing cars and trying to be objective and doing a job as a journalist. And if I wasn't a cynical person, I'd be, well, rubbish at my job, but I'd also probably start every review by saying, "Hey guys," and then proceeding to stick various body parts up the exhaust of a Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series, and that's just not me. But sometimes you've got to let cynicism slide when the car you're reviewing kind of goes against your expectations. And one such example of that is this. What is it then? It's the Cupra Formentor, or Fermenter, or Fermenter if you're from the West Country. It is Cupra's first standalone car that isn't a Seat. It's a very, very familiar Volkswagen Group recipe though, hence my cynicism. It's got the 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo, 310 horsepower that you see in everything from an Audi S3 to a Golf R to a, detuned version in the Skoda Superb. It's everywhere. I kind of got a bit bored of it at the start of this year, that engine. It's 4-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, and it costs £40,000. However, this has only got one option on it, and that's 300 quid's worth of blue interior. Or is it the paint? No, it's the paint. It's 300 quid. So actually, you buy one of these 40 grand, you don't need to stick any options on it. It's a complete car for your money. I'm going to give you a walk around and show you what I think of it and whether you should be cynical about it. Hint, no, it's actually quite good. Right, let's get into it, and I apologise in advance if this video is a little bit rushed. It's just chucked it down, it's hailed, and I've chosen a new filming location, which we will now know as the muddy road of shit. Frankly, it's horrible. I'm not coming back here in a hurry. What isn't shit is the way the new Cupra Formentor looks. You might think it's an SUV, or if you're cynical, you might say, that's just a Seat Ateca with the roof chopped off at the back. And you'd be wrong, frankly. It's based on the same platform as all the normal Volkswagen Group stuff, like the Golf 8 and the Ateca and the Leon and all that stuff. But it's not as much of an SUV as you would think. You would just look at it and think, oh, it's a bit like an Infiniti QX30, if you're old and into your rubbish cars. Actually, it feels more like a slightly jacked up Leon, especially when you're sitting inside it and driving it. Really like the grille. You've got the bronze badge. I think we're all just about used to the Cupra badge now. Looks a bit Transformers-y, but hey, I quite like it. It looks different. What you probably can't see, but I will show you in some close-ups, are these sculpted lines down the bonnet. They're there on most kind of Volkswagen Group stuff, but on this, they're really, really accentuated. And when you're behind the wheel, they look a bit like you're in a Ford Mustang or something, like following these big sculpted lines to the horizon on your date with destiny in your Cupra Formentor. I can't say it. Formentor. Formentor. Tell me in the comments what I should be saying, because I've got no idea how to pronounce the name of this car. Good start, roadie. Right, let's show you the practicality, I guess. Right, apologies for the crap shot, but it's the best I can do in the thoroughfare of filth. Let's talk about the back of the Formentor, whatever. It's got a full width light bar. It slopes down here like an Audi Q3 Sportback. And the boot release is down here, which is quite low, and you do get a grubby hand, but it's got an electric tailgate. The boot is 420 litres, which is, what, 60 litres? No. 40 litres more than a Golf, so it's a reasonable size. It's got a bloody spare wheel. I've not seen one of those since 2009, so if you have a puncture, you're not utterly screwed and reliant on some gunk that probably went off 10 years ago. You can flip the rear seats down here. It's got some hooks. It's a boot. It's decent size. Obviously the slopiness means that it's not going to be great for getting dogs in, but that's probably not why you're buying a 300 horsepower not SUV, hot hatch not SUV. Let's do the back seats so I can get dry feet. Thought I'd just show you the side profile of the Cupra Formentor as well. I have to say, the alleyway of dirge is really coming up trumps. Just had a chap walking his 2 dogs past, and he stopped and he said, "What is it? That looks really upmarket." So, well done Cupra, you are appealing to dog walkers with very nice whippets. But yeah, sloping roofline, covered in filth, nice big wheels. I think it looks reasonably nice. Let's open the back door and I'll show you that. What's it like in the back? Oh, it's my daughter's bunny. She thought she had lost that. it's actually quite good in the back. I've got loads of knee room and I've got loads of headroom. Normally the cars with sloping coupe rooflines, it knackers the rear headroom, but not so in this. That is my driving position. These seats are really comfortable as well. They're kind of, I know, they're kind of squishy. Blue leather, I don't know if that's everyone's taste, but I like it. Doesn't feel claustrophobic. Yeah, I might have a nap. You get enough sleep already, you fat bastard. It's not very nice, is it? Right, let's jump in and I'll give you a tour of the interior. Oh, yes. I'm getting old, starting to make noises as I climb into cars. First thing you notice, really, is, well, this car has got blue leather interior. The second thing you probably noticed, don't know if you can see that, but along the doors, along the front, and along the sides, you've got this beautiful strip of light. This front bit I've seen in the Volkswagen ID3, but I've never seen it go out into the doors. And what that does is, well, it does a load of things, basically. If you've got a car in your blind spot, normally you get lights in your mirrors that light up, but instead, this lights up, which is just quite pleasing. And it also lights up if it thinks you're about to crash, and it does various other things. It's just quite a nice touch. And I think Volkswagen Group's going to roll it out across some of their other cars as well. That'd be quite nice. It's quite pleasing in here. There's some, well, not pentagrams, but, you know, 5-sided shapes. Pentagons, that is the word. It's automatic only, and you get Volkswagen Group's tiny little knob of a shifter, but you can pretend you're in a 992 Gen Porsche 911. The steering wheel is nice and thin. It's got bronze bits, and it's got the engine start-stop button there, and a driving mode selector there. You've got full digital dash. It does lots of things, all of which you've seen before. I'm not going to bother showing you them. Also, it's not working because the ignition's not on. It has the most prominently placed traction control off button of any Volkswagen Group car. It's only got USB-Cs, you need an adapter, and there's a 12 volt under there. And it's got this. Yes, this is Seat's latest infotainment system, and I still don't like it. It's not buggy, it's not Cyberpunk 2077, it's just, I don't know, it's a bit confusing to use, and you have to go through too many menus to do things like customize your individual driving profile. I've done it wrong. Go to individual, there you go, and then you can configure it. It has got Volkswagen Group's latest thing for the dynamic dampers, where you can choose on a spectrum of hardness. Don't we all wish you had a spectrum of hardness for everything in life? And then you can adjust the aggressiveness of the Haldex all-wheel drive system, the steering, the engine sound, which we'll get onto in the driving bit. Yeah, it's all fairly standard stuff, and it's just a bit, I don't know, it's a bit confusing to use. It's trying to be clever, so you can just do this. You say, oh, I want some fresh air, and you press this, and it does all sorts of things to the aircon to give you a fresh air profile, and it does actually work, and it does suddenly make you feel like you're on a mountain, but you could probably do that yourself if you had proper bloody buttons. There are some extra niggles that I haven't spoken about, actually. I've got an iPhone 12 Pro Max in the Apple leather case with the magnety thing in it, and it doesn't properly charge in that all the time. It'll be okay for a while, and then this will say it's discovered more objects in there than just a phone, so it's not going to charge it for you. Other thing, I've been getting 30 mpg, which is fine. Oh, I've been getting 13 mpg, but I've been driving like a bit of a see you next Tuesday for the GoPros. Otherwise, you'll get 30 miles per gallon on a run, which is fine. There are some vaguely physical buttons for windscreen heating and rear window heating, but they're down there for the light controls. God knows why Volkswagen Group does that. It feels like they've just developed this little cluster, and now everyone has to use it, despite the fact it's shit. Oh no, the abusive bunny's back. What do you want to say? Talk about the driving experience.
Yeah, abusive bunny, you're probably right. Not about the fat thing, but we should go for a drive. You fire the Cupra Formentor into life by using this button on the steering wheel. It sounds like a fairly quiet 4-cylinder thing. Into gear there. Off we go. The first thing that strikes you driving this car is that the driving position is very normal. You don't feel like you're in an SUV, you feel like you're in a hatchback, like the Leon. You get a great view out over the bonnet with those bulges that I showed you earlier. And yeah, it doesn't feel too big. It feels nice though. It feels premium in a way that the Seat Ateca and the Cupra Ateca never really did. Any rattles that you can hear are because I'm on a very bumpy road and I've got an unladen child seat in the back, so it's not the car. Right, I'm going to get out on some twisty roads and see if it's any good. Actually, before we get out onto the twisty roads, I might as well tell you about the boring stuff, the day-to-day stuff. Around town, the ride is reasonably firm. I've actually set it up so I've got an individual mode, and I've put it on all the sporty stuff except suspension. I've slackened off to comfort, if you remember the graph, the spectrum of comfort. I've got it set beyond comfort, and it's still, yeah, it's completely livable, but over sharp bumps, it's gonna send a bit of a jolt up your spine. But hey, it's a sporty SUV thing. What did you expect? The mirrors are small, but not annoyingly so. They actually look quite nice. They're not like these huge ears that you have stuck on the side of modern cars like Dumbo. It's all just very easy and nice to drive. And obviously, it's very fast as well. We're all a bit used to the 300 horsepower EA 888 engine that we've had since the Mark 7 Golf R. And you know what? I got a bit blasé. It appeared in everything like the Audi SQ2, the Audi S3, the T-Roc R. It just feels like everything had it. But yeah, it's still very good. It's very quick. Okay, despite its familiarity, this engine can still stun you. What you need to do is pull the gearbox back into S. I was in S. Press the traction control button once, put your left foot on the brake and your right foot on the accelerator, and let go of the brake. Yeah, it's really sodding fast. 0 to 60 is 4.9 seconds, but to be honest, it feels faster than that. I'm on greasy roads, and it feels, yeah, rapid. It doesn't have the most engaging engine note, and if you put it in Cupra mode, which is the raciest of the modes, on the steering wheel you get this very fake 5-cylinder noise. Let's see if you can hear. Yeah, it's very, very artificial, but it's quite enjoyable in a silly sort of way. What is interesting about the Cupra Formentor is the one that's been seen going around the Nürburgring, because it's got an Audi 5-cylinder engine in it. Audi's never given that 5-cylinder engine to any of the lesser brands ever. So if they do bring this car out in a 5-cylinder version, that'd be a first. That'd be really quite something. And part of me thinks the fake noise you get in this, it's definitely a 5-cylinder noise, is all part of that marketing plan. Ooh, it's got so much grip. Yeah, it's really bloody fast cross country. The brakes are astonishing despite the puddles and the mud on the road. It's a very easy car to drive fast and to scare your kids in. My God, it feels like a little rally car. This is good. This is good. The chassis is pretty much completely tied down. I don't think you'd be doing much lift-off oversteer antiquery in this. That's antics, for want of a better word, a proper word. Yeah, but still, yeah, it's good fun. You get a bit of turbo whistle as well. It's quite hard to hear, but it's there. Gearbox is super sharp, super responsive. This has been designed by the people at Cupra that know how to make a car good to drive. It's not going to make you laugh out loud with its chassis dynamics, but in terms of gripping and going very quickly on the Queen's Highway, it's phenomenal. Right, enough driving waffle, back to you, Tim, for an outro. So in terms of a conclusion, I know I said at the start of this video it's easy to be cynical about the Cupra Formentor thing. And I was cynical about it. I thought it was just going to be a rehashed Ateca with the Golf R engine in it, but actually it's quite different to that. It doesn't feel like an SUV to drive. It feels more like a Leon than an Ateca. And that engine, it works really well. It's still incredibly fast. And actually, I'm surprised by the practicality. It's roomy. It's got a decent sized boot. I can't actually find a lot to fault with it, which is quite surprising because it's a 40 grand car. That would normally count against it, but look at the price for new Golf R by Volkswagen. It's £40,000, and I don't think you could argue that this
is any less of a car than the new Golf R, even though I've not driven it yet. The amount of car you're getting for your money, this looks like a bit of a bargain. It's unusual. You're not going to see one of these on every street corner. And if you can live with the badge, then I think it's a great looking thing as well. So yeah, a bit of a surprise and a lesson in why you shouldn't judge a book by its mechanical components and use of the EA 888 turbo engine. I think Shakespeare said that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe and hit the bell. And I'll see you very soon for more videos, possibly on a Volkswagen Golf that's quite fast. See you next time.